Let's speak about Lucid Motors, baby, and their debut on the Nasdaq. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor, and today we're going to be speaking about a company who we literally invested in and covered on this channel from day one, before we even knew for a fact they would be going public. A company who we have been in for the entirety of this upwards and downwards move. Who remembers the excitement, my friends, of buying in the 11s and 12s, holding hitting the 20s for the first time? Those were the days, baby. But Lucid Motors have had this really big news. They just debuted on the Nasdaq. The merger with CCIV, the SPAC that brought them public, went through, and the transaction brings in $4.4 billion to the company. Much needed. So obviously it's cool, the merger has gone through. Woohoo, everybody likes that. I want to speak about what it actually looks like, okay? What the last 2 trading days look like, because some people were surprised that we went up and then we came back down. Hint, if you look at the broader EV market, similar things happen in other companies, but we will get to that. I also want to point out what some of the broader markets are doing right now to try and make sense of what Lucid has done. 3-4 months ago, we could look at any company, in my opinion, as an individual company, and they would move as an individual company. But right now, sectors really are largely moving together. We'll speak about an interview that the CEO did over on CNBC. There's a few interesting points that were brought up in it, but nothing too crazy, nothing life-changing. But there was a few things about retail investors in particular, which again is something I just want to touch on in today's video. And let's just see what it all actually looks like, what the merger looks like, what kind of position they're in, and what they're going to be doing next, because that's what we as shareholders want to find out. Right before we do get into the juicy information, my friends, could I please ask you to drop a nice early thumbs up on the video, because it really does help me out. The support since I've came back has been incredible. I'm sorry that I haven't been uploading for a few days, but I've just been really beaten down. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know, are you still holding Lucid Motors? Did you buy back, initially when I did? Or are you back holding from the tops? And please, my friend, if you are indeed new around here, consider hitting that juicy red subscribe button, because we're going to be bringing our content up a level, baby. So with that being said, we're just starting off on Lucid Motors investor relations. Always a good place to start when you're looking for real, safe news. I think one very, very important thing to understand right off the bat is this. The transaction brings in $4.4 billion, which the company plans to use to accelerate its growth and increase manufacturing capacity to capitalize on expected demand. And to me, I think this is the first thing that we should speak about. I think this is potentially the most important thing. The transaction brings in $4.4 billion, which is an awful lot of money for this company right now. And they kick off the market debut with EV factory expansion plans. Now, if you've been keeping up to date with Lucid Motors, they're expecting to deliver, not manufacture, but deliver cars in the second half of this year. Now, a lot of people will have their doubts in regards to that happening, or if it is happening, it'll more likely be on a very, very small scale. But they will be expanding its factory in Arizona by 2.7 million square feet. We did also find out after hours on Monday, the company has said it has 1,100 paid reservations, up from the last update being 10,000. Keep in mind, guys, these are paid reservations. There's a lot of anxiety in the world of EV right now, especially with everything that's going on with Lordstown Motors. But I don't think we have anything to worry about in regards to these reservations falling through personally. Part of the expansion will be used to accommodate the manufacturing of Project Gravity, the mysterious title given to the automaker's forthcoming luxury electric SUV. When people think of Lucid Motors, oftentimes they think of these really expensive, hugely expensive cars. Keep in mind, they can start about $70,000, which is an awful lot of money. But compare that to a Tesla or something of the sorts. I mean, yeah, you're going to spend $70,000 on a very nice car. The company is also planning on bringing more of the component production in-house, something that again is becoming ever more popular with every single large EV maker out there. And again, this brings costs down and ultimately more than likely will translate to the consumer, to you or me, if we want the Lucid Air or whatever Lucid vehicle we want. If you can bring down those in-house costs, oftentimes that does get transferred to the consumer through a cheaper vehicle. That's one of the major missions of Tesla, for example, is wanting to be able to have those cheaper vehicles so that everybody can have an EV. The first phase of the factory cost around $700 million to go up. It went up in 12 months. And we know again from following Lucid, they want to expand production capacity from around 30,000 vehicles per year up to 400,000. Ultimately looking to have sales up to 250,000 a year within a matter of 4 years at this stage. Huge goals coming from Lucid Motors, I won't lie. But that's really the first plan they have. Expand that factory, get vehicle production up. I mean, it makes sense. That's what they have to do. Keep in mind, guys, Lucid Motors already are, even without these sales, a much larger company, staff-wise, etc., than a lot of these other EV players. Thus, they're much higher valuation than a lot of their peers. And I know there's a lot of, SPAC anxiety going around in the markets right now, but I don't think we're going to get that with Lucid Motors. People have been waiting for them to go public for a very long time. When they went public, they jumped more than 10%. Now, here we're looking at a daily chart. Look at that volume. That's the biggest volume we've had in a long while since, this upward move here. Now, it's nothing compared to what we had at the beginning, but there's also a lot less retailers making these plays anymore. A lot of people now are actually investing in these companies. But look, that was a very, very nice move, and there was no gaps created. The same can't be said back here all the way up at $50 a share. But it was a nice move. It went up more than 10% within the first hour. It gave back a little bit of that. Quite a bit of it, actually, you can see here. But simply put, the day it happened, it went up, it came down. Ultimately, we finished on a very nice day. Now, if we actually have a look at the following day, look at this. Opened up, came back down, and closed pretty much where we opened the day before. And a lot of people may think that this is a very bad result. But I want you guys to keep in mind, for me, this is just a SPAC where the merger finally went through. There was no other piece of news. There was nothing to justify an upward or a downward move. And there hasn't been for quite a while here. I'll show you Tesla, okay? Their earnings came out after hours the same day, okay, that Lucid Motors finally went public. They had an upward move, and they had this big downward move the next day. This is with actual positive news, and this is Tesla. So you'll see Tesla ended up considerably below where they were the day before. Now, the reason I'm using Tesla is not because I'm trying to compare Lucid Motors to Tesla. It's because of this, okay? In general, sectors are moving together right now, okay? Sectors move more consistently in an upwards or downwards direction, regardless of the individual companies and regardless of the individual company's news that is coming out. Look at this heat map for me. Technology, one stock's down, they're all down pretty much. You're going to have your outliers, of course. Semiconductors, every single one of them is down. I'm sure somebody in here had some good news. Communication sector, we see Google and Facebook down. Amazon down 2%, underperforming Tesla. That's very rare. You're going to see a 2% move from Amazon. And then you'll see healthcare. One stock's up. They're all pretty much up, or they're all at break even. There's not much of a difference going on. I think that's something that we have to really begin appreciating, is that right now, sectors are moving together. It's taking a lot to move individual stocks, especially the mega caps or even the mid caps, anything that's 10 billion plus. Even Tesla, okay, which, keep in mind, guys, they come out with fantastic earnings. People are very, very happy with those earnings, and nothing really happened. And they're still down, what, 25% from the tops, more? Now, don't get me wrong, because I know there's still an awful lot of rich valuations out there. I don't blame companies for struggling to go up, especially not these growth companies where some of the ratios don't make sense. But if you go look at the average PE ratio in the S&P 500 now compared to where it was 2 years ago, do some homework for yourself, you're going to be quite shocked. Why am I spending so much time on this? Because I want to just make it clear that this move doesn't really have, in my opinion, much to do at all with Lucid Motors finally going public. Yeah, there was a little bit more volume, a little bit more volatility. Some people probably did actually open long-term positions. But at the end of the day, what happened? Absolutely nothing. They went up a few percent. I think if you are an investor, okay, and you're interested in the long-term health of this company, focus on the long term, okay? Let's see what they do with that money. Let's see if they actually do deliver over the next, hopefully 3 months or so, at least a handful of vehicles, just to give investor confidence. Because I've seen this over the last year, okay? These EV companies, they're making promises, and Tesla's really the only one who's able to keep up with them. Now, in my opinion, Lucid haven't really made too many promises, which I actually think is a good thing, considering that they're still able to get a lot of retail investors behind them. But we do still need to see some form of execution relatively soon, in my opinion, to keep people happy. But my friends, that will be my update video on Lucid Motors. I don't think too much more needs to be said, because again, at the end of the day, not a lot has actually changed. They're just public now. We're trading under a different ticker symbol. If you watched all the way till the end, you, my friend, are a true legend, and I really do appreciate you being here from the bottom of my heart. Your support means the world to me. If you did enjoy today's video, could I please ask you again, hit that juicy like button if you haven't yet. It genuinely helps me out so much. Drop me that comment down below, and please subscribe if you're new around here. Anyway, guys, I hope you all have a beautiful, blessed day. I'll see you in another video very soon. Peace.